It is our pleasure to have Professor Kannan here visiting Kame Institute, especially for speaking an interesting conference about the new digital marketing. So, I would like to start this interview with this first question. According to a recent study in our country, 60 million Peruvians are connected to internet, and almost 20% of them used to buy online. What do you think are the key aspects to develop the e-commerce in an emerging country like Peru? And how businesses here should manage customer experiences in order to foster
Good
this
question. But we'll go back to the very basics of why people use internet. If you think about it, the main reason as to why customers are using internet to do their shopping and commerce is because of the convenience that it is able to provide them. Convenience in terms of searching for what they want instead of having to go to stores and look around. A convenience in terms of the nice prices and low prices that they can shop around for. Convenience in terms of getting things delivered to their home. Convenience in terms of the effort that they put in trying to accomplish some task that they are doing. So there are a lot of conveniences that comes and that reduce the cost of doing business. And I think that's the main reason as to why people are using internet as a primary source of to buy things for themselves. Now, one of the other things that you need to understand is people may actually purchase books. People may actually purchase different kinds of items, small value items, easily on the internet and get delivered. But even for big purchase item like cars or refrigerators or some household equipment that you want to buy, you still can use the internet to do a lot of search, to get product information, to understand, to narrow down the choices of what they want to really buy. So you can do a lot of research on the internet in the pre-purchase stage, which allows them to really narrow down their choices and then go to the store and drive a car, test drive the car, and figure out what is the best thing that they need to buy. And so there are lots of advantages. And from the firm's viewpoint, what they have to do is to ensure that the customers really have a good experience of searching at their website and getting the information that they need. And so companies which really tend to do well are the ones who are able to provide these options for customers so that customers get all the information that they need, and whether they want to buy it online or whether they want to come into the store and buy. I think providing the seamless experience of shopping online is very important.
Okay, very interesting. So the world continues changing very fast with this internet and all the
Yes.
things around this.
Yeah.
Right?
And the other thing that I would also point out is, you may think about Peru being, maybe 50% penetration in terms of internet connectivity, and it may go up. But what I'm really interested is not only just internet connection, but the mobile connection. And the mobile connection is going to come at a faster rate. Even in areas where you may not have internet connections, you may have mobile-based connections which allow people to really shop. And I think what is going to happen, you will find in many developing countries, is they really don't wait for internet to come to every part of the country. Mobile takes over, and mobile becomes a substitute for doing. And so you will certainly find that mobile commerce is going to be much bigger.
Okay, very, very important aspect, especially in this country, I think. Okay, and when you think about the strategies in order to better interact with customers frequently, when companies are planning those strategies to interact with customers, what do you recommend to consider, especially about the use of smartphones, and what maybe it's important also to consider is to identify the different aspects of the generations or different profiles?
If you were to think about the early days of the internet, you had, younger folks going on the internet, people who are more educated, people who are comfortable with technology are the ones who used to go to the internet and started, doing commerce. Senior citizens at the time really did not go on the internet as much, and they still wanted to do business the old way, either because they were not comfortable with technology or because they were poor, and so there are lots of other reasons. So any technology that comes into the market will always create some people who will adopt it immediately and some people who are laggards. They don't adopt the technology immediately. So what might happen is you have offline commerce that is there already, online commerce is coming on, mobile commerce is coming on. So you will find that there are certain segment of customers, mainly younger people, who will be very comfortable with mobile technology, and they may use mobile for search, mobile for buying things and doing a lot of things, because now if you look at younger technology, they are using texting and talking to friends all on mobile, and they get very comfortable. On the other hand, you may have some people who might think that mobile is very risky, and they may do work on online commerce, but not really go to mobile. And then still you may have some other people, maybe the poorer segments, who really don't have the access to either online or mobile, still doing offline commerce. So in a developing country, I would say that don't get ahead of yourself in trying to say, oh, mobile is the way to go and so on. You may still have a large segment of your population, a segment of your market, who may still continue to do business the old way. But they may actually have, not smartphones, but they may have mobile phones, which may have lower capabilities, but still they may use it to get information. And so the important thing to understand here is the technology, level of technology that consumers use are going to be varied depending on their income level. And so if you want to cater to these different segments, you really have to have a clear strategy as to how to go about, look at your market and see what percentage of your market will adopt new technology or have new technology, and what kind of strategy you're going to have for this particular segment. And for the segment of customers who really are not adopting this technology yet, what will you be doing? Now, anytime you're going to have a multi-channel and omni-channel strategy, your expenses are going to go up. So you really need to understand how to plan for this so that you don't spend too much money, because if your return is not very high, you cannot justify that investment that you're making. So it's important to understand the segments you're serving, how technology ready they are, and then use the appropriate means to touch them.
In your research, maybe you have found some aspect about the cultural issues. Do you think the cultural aspect maybe are influencing in some ways, or to use that?
Yeah, cultural aspects are there. One thing about using technology to do commerce is people's risk attitudes. And typically, people who really don't trust technology, it will be very difficult for you to get somebody to buy online if they really inherently don't trust the technology. So the question of trust, it becomes relevant because people who are more experienced with technology would start trusting the technology better. So if I'm using mobile all the time, and I know how mobile works, maybe I will take the next step and start using mobile technology to buy something. But if I'm not really experienced with mobile, or I use mobile only to make calls, and I don't do anything else, then the extent to which I'll be ready for, so even though I may have a mobile device, I might not go to the next step. So people's risk profiles are very important. So you really have to understand how technology ready people are, how the segments are technology ready, and then use appropriate ways to encourage them. And cultural diversity plays a very important role. And in some segments, if they think that technology is evil, then you may have a tough time to get them to adopt.
And what about the gender? Maybe you did some comparison between male and females, or some kinds of...
Yeah, and it is interesting because the conventional wisdom is that women are not as technology savvy as men, but that's not correct. In fact, today's consumers, people who are younger now, the technology savviness is about the same, whether it's man or woman. And I think this technology acceptance and the technology, the ease with which you work with technology and the comfort with technology is about the same with both genders, male and female. Now, what I would say is where exactly there's going to be a difference will be in the income levels. People who are richer tend to have access to many of these devices and they are much more comfortable with it. And people who really don't have access to it and who have adopted it maybe later in their lives may have a tougher time adopting and then moving up the chain of doing their business. So rather than gender, I would say it's more the income that's going to determine whether you're comfortable.
Okay, good. So it is your fourth visit here in Peru, so you know something about Peru. What do you recommend in this time, digital era around the world, especially here in Peru? What about the new challenges and new problems that companies in general have to solve, to face and to solve? What would be the most relevant issues that a marketing department, especially, must take care in order to take advantage of this?
What I would say, there are two things that you need to think about. One is, in an environment like this where you have lots and lots of different people at different, knowledge level in terms of technology and digital technology in particular, companies need to experiment, right? The reason for doing experimentation is you would understand, what success you can get by doing experimentation, and instead of investing a lot of money up front and trying to roll it out, do it in a small steps. That is, maybe try some technology in one particular area, maybe try it in one store. So it is important to really understand how you can really do some experimentation and learn from experimentation and then incorporate it into your regular tactical, tactical strategies. And so one example would be to say, well, I will use online technology in order to provide support functions. I might not use online technology for people to buy, but I might use online technology to provide information. I might use mobile technology to provide information. Not that I might actually be able to buy using mobile technology, but at least provide some information. So when you start doing that, you start learning about the technology and what is required in order to provide a very seamless kind of experience for customers. And by doing that, companies can learn over time. And also, when people adopt this technology in a big way, you will be at the right point in order to roll out services that will be needed for these customers adopting this new technology. So I would say that you got to have a mindset of a student, trying to learn, understand, learn from mistakes, learn from successes, and be ready to roll it out as the market develops.
Okay. Well, very interesting. So my last question would be, what do you think is the future of the television and all those things that we are...
Well, television has been mainly one way, but I think what's going to happen with television is going to become a two-way interactive tool, and in many markets now you have smart TVs which you can interact with, and companies can use smart TVs to interact with you. And sometimes smart TVs also means that they can see what you're doing, and so you may lose your privacy. And so there are dangers of having too much technology in your life, but there are also positives. More than television per se, I think where the next level of technology would be wearable computing. So you have Apple Watch, you may have virtual reality, and you have all those different kinds of Internet of Things, AI-based cognitive computing. These are all the next generation of technologies that are going to provide you with a lot of services, very customized to your needs, and it will change the market, as we can never even imagine at this particular point in time. And I think as a firm, you have to look at it from the viewpoint of not investing because I want to just, I want to show myself that I can do all this, but it's a question of ROI. What is the investment that I should make that is going to give me a return that I can justify that investment? So, in order to do that, I need to learn. And that's why the spirit of experimentation is always necessary as a manager to have, so that you try new things in a small way, learn from it, and then implement it.
And about the training for executives of a marketing department, what do you think would be the best way to train, to prepare the people for the future?
That's a good point. I would say if I'm a marketer now, I will be watching how customers are behaving or interacting with technology. And that is going to be the prime thing that is going to tell us as to where markets are headed. And one important thing to understand here is that new technology always creates new markets. And you may have a situation where you are very slow in getting to adopt certain technology like mobile. If your competitors get there first, they may actually gain a larger share and move you out of the market. Right? So when online technology came, it created new giants like Amazon, who were not there at all. I mean, Amazon came in, and now all the retail stores in the US, all over the world, are suffering because Amazon has become really big. So who knows? In the mobile environment, you may have another company who might come in and take a lot amount of share. And the same thing can happen when you talk about wearable computing, or when you talk about cloud computing, or you talk about cognitive computing. And so every time your technology improves and gives you opportunities, there is always a danger that if you're an incumbent having a large share in the market, that somebody may come and grab you. So you have to be very nimble and fast.
Okay, PK, very interesting. So, what would be your last message for Peruvian companies and especially marketing departments in order to take advantage of this new?
I would say keep your eyes open, look at what people are doing, learn from them, and be ready to.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing your very important ideas and knowledge.
You're very welcome.